Good morning. I'm Jordan Slocum, and this is the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT, and the first Doane College Review of 2016. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 8:30 here on 90.5 KUTT, we take a look at what's going on around Doane College athletics, academics, arts, and more. On today's program, we talk to women's basketball player Shelbi Bittinger. We'll also chat with Greg Seier, Director of Sports Medicine at Doane, and we'll take a look at some of the best interviews on this program from 2015. But first, we begin with basketball, and both the Doane men's and women's basketball teams ended 2015 with success. For the Tiger women, they were victorious on Wednesday, the 30th, beating 18th-ranked Haskell Indian Nations University on the road 62-50. Shelbi Bittinger had a double-double in that game, 17 points and 10 rebounds, and she's often at the top of the scoring charts for the Tigers. Earlier in the week, I had a chance to talk to Shelbi. First off, Shelbi, you're now into your senior season. Is it hard to believe that you're already in your senior year?
Yeah, absolutely. The last 4 years have honestly flown by. I mean, like they say in high school flies by, but they're not kidding when they say college really does go by faster.
When you look at how you've grown as a basketball player from starting at Doane as a freshman to now, what have you seen?
It actually surprises me that how much you just develop even more as a player. And even being an upperclassman, watching the underclassmen develop, like the freshmen from last year to this year, they've developed as well too. I mean, just getting stronger and making smart decisions on and off the court. And it's just really fun to watch individuals transform like that, because something like basketball is something that can benefit you into the future just by playing and taking leadership or teamwork and stuff like that. So I think just developing in that way has been beneficial for me, and I know girls now have been benefiting from it too.
This is the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT, talking to Doane women's basketball player Shelbi Bittinger. Earlier this year, Shelbi, you passed 1,000 points in your Doane career. What was that like, hitting that milestone for you?
It was, I don't want to say it was a goal that I set coming in as a freshman, because I never would have imagined surpassing the 1,000 point, but I actually owe it a lot to my team and to my coaches for helping me reach that, because we play so much like a team, and it's fun to see people get excited when, one player makes a great pass and turns it into like a great score for somebody else. And that's just something that our team does a good job of, and not being selfish. We just like to share the ball and distribute and let everybody do what they do best. And I honestly didn't even know that I made the 1,000 points until I saw a tweet about it from Rick Schmecker, and it actually caught me by surprise because I didn't realize how close I was or what I needed to get it. And I think that actually made things better, because I wasn't trying to do it all myself and not knowing about it, and then actually it happened. I mean, it's something to be proud of, but it's also something I owe a lot to my teammates and my coaches throughout the years.
Now, you went to high school at Milford, not too far away from Doane. Is that part of the reason why you went to decide to go to Doane, staying close to home, or what were some of the reasons why you wanted to go to Doane?
Actually, I've had family members attend Doane College, and I know how much they really enjoyed being here. And then I wasn't really too sure where I wanted to go, but I knew I did kind of want to be closer to home, and it was actually a really good fit for me too. So I think just seeing my family members and friends go through the Doane system and really know what Doane's all about is one of the key reasons that helped me decide Doane was a really good fit for me.
Again, this is the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT, talking to women's basketball player Shelbi Bittinger. What has it been like for you playing for Coach Tracy Fairbanks?
It's been great. She is a really great coach, and she really knows what she's talking about. She is one of those coaches that she's not afraid, to get after us, but then again, she gives us all of the credit in the world, like when we don't deserve it. She's had a really big impact on me, not only as a college basketball player, but also just in my academics. Within every aspect, she pushes us to do our best and to be our best, and I think that is something that has really helped me also grow as a person, because I know that she expects a lot because she knows what we're capable of doing. So it's been really great to actually get the opportunity to play for her.
Do you have any moments that stand out as your favorite moments with this team?
I think this season so far, we played earlier at the Cattle Classic up in Seward, and we played 2 top 25 ranked teams during that weekend, and we came away with 2 wins. So I think beating the number 6, and I'm not sure if it was 23 or 25, but 2 of the teams in the top 25 and nationally was something that really stuck out to me because we played so well together. Like I said, we've distributed the ball. We played the defense that we needed to win. And we've had so many close games even within the GPAC, and it's just fun to play with each other because we all share the same passion. And, I mean, it's hard with the tough losses, but even the games we play really close in, everyone just gets together and we can tell each other how many good things we did throughout the day or that game, but yet still know the stuff that we need to work on. And I think that is just something I love about this team because we're not afraid to take criticism from each other, but we will push each other in practice just to get better.
Again, talking to Shelbi Bittinger here on the Doane College Review. Now, you're also a member of Doane's track and field team. How has that experience been for you?
That's also been a really great experience. Coach Fi is fun to compete for as well. He gets really into it and cares a lot about his athletes too. And it's just beneficial to, know other people and support other sports around campus, not just, the basketball teams or whatever, but being a part of that too helps. And even all teams on campus will support any team out there playing, and we don't have that little, my team's better than your team, but everyone goes out to support whoever. So I think that's also why I love, being in track, because the girls will come out and support me from the basketball team, and it's a really great feeling to actually be a part of that.
Last question, Shelbi. As you get closer to graduation, what are some of the career goals you have going forward?
I really want to work with children. I am a psychology major, and I just want to do something that will benefit other people and help them. And then, that just makes me feel good and better about myself, too, that I'm actually doing something to help either a family or, like, a young child that is in need of it or something along those lines. I haven't fully decided what I want to do yet, but I know I do want to do something where I can help other individuals.
Any thoughts about being involved at coaching in sub-level?
Yeah, I've thought about that and getting my coaching endorsement, but I don't have any idea if it'd be like volleyball or basketball or track, because I was competing in all of those throughout high school and my younger years too. So if I did that, I wouldn't want to be at like a high school level, but more like the younger ages to help develop their skills and see if they still have the love for it as they get older, just like I did, and had great coaches that helped me when I was in my elementary years or my junior high years.
Once again, we thank Shelbi Bittinger of the Doane women's basketball and track and field programs for speaking to us today on the Doane College Review. Once again, this is the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 8:30, we take a look at what's going on around Doane College athletics, academics, and more. As mentioned, the Doane women's basketball team was victorious on Wednesday over Haskell Indian Nations University. The men's basketball team also finished 2015 with success, taking both games of the Kansas Wesleyan Classic. They defeated Friends University Tuesday in overtime 66-64, and then Wednesday defeated the host Kansas Wesleyan 63-52. Both the Doane men and women's basketball teams are in action today. They'll be at the Haddock Center hosting Northwestern College this afternoon. The women's game is set to tip off at 2 o'clock, with the men at 4. And if you have a chance, get on out and support the Tigers. Coming up later this week, the women's basketball team on Wednesday will be hosting the College of St. Mary at 6 o'clock. Next Saturday, the 9th, the track and field teams will be competing at the Ward Haylett Invitational. The wrestling team next Saturday will be at the Hastings Open, and the basketball teams will be on the road next Saturday at Morningside College. As we continue on today's edition of the Doane College Review, we have an interview with Greg Seier, who is the Director of Sports Medicine at Doane, and a gentleman who has a hand in a lot of different things. First off, Greg, you're the Director of Sports Medicine at Doane. What all does your position entail?
Oh, boy.
Start off with an easy question.
Yeah, I wear a lot of different hats. Primarily, responsibilities are athletic training, coverage of kind of all sports, mainly focusing on volleyball, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's golf, men's and women's tennis, and cheer and dance. Then I also teach in the physical education department, 6 credits both semesters, and then administrative duties, lots of insurance. That's probably the biggest part of the administrative part, is making sure all the athletes have insurance, making sure it's up to date, making sure they're covered, and then making sure it's in network within Nebraska.
I'm sure the insurance part's probably the most fun part of the job, right?
No, if I could get rid of one thing, that would be the main thing I would dish on to somebody else, because it's with Obamacare and everything else, it's a nightmare for some of these kids coming in to make sure they have coverage for if something happens.
Talking to Greg Seier here on the Doane College Review. Now, you came back to Doane in 2010. You graduated from Doane in 98. What brought you back to Doane?
I loved it here. I ran track for 4 years. I was part of the athletic training staff as a student here, and the athletic trainer here that was I learned under Carrie Jefferson. She was awesome. She taught me all kinds of stuff, and Doane was kind of a family college, and I enjoyed it here as an undergrad, and that was kind of one position that if it ever came open, that would be something I'd go after. And fortunately, they thought I was good enough to hire, and here I am.
We're in the middle of the winter sports season. Do the different seasons provide different challenges for you?
Yeah. Usually the spring is the busiest. Coming off of winter, we kind of have the fall sports done now. They're not really doing too much. But once it gets nice outside, after winter, we pretty much have every sport going again. And in the fall, it's not too bad because the winter sports aren't really kicking up, and the spring sports are doing a little bit. But yeah, it's mainly the amount and the volume of practice and games that goes up and down.
Talking to Greg Seier here on the Doane College Review. He's the Director of Sports Medicine at Doane. You said you also teach some classes at Doane. What are some of the classes you teach?
In the fall, I teach orthopedic evaluations. So it's a class that if basically someone hurts their knee, hurts their shoulder, we go through anatomy, special tests, and come up with kind of an assessment of what's going on for that individual, and then if they need to go to physical therapy or if they need to go x-rays, MRI, surgery, stuff like that. And then I also teach principles of strength and conditioning, and that kind of prepares the students to become a strength coach at a college, university, junior college, or high school. And then in the spring, I teach orthopedic evaluations again, and then therapeutic modalities and exercise. And it's basically like physical therapy. They learn how to do different types of exercises. They learn about heat, cold, ice, or heat, cold, electric stem, ultrasound, lasers, and light therapy.
How has it been working with the students, not only the ones who you have in classes, but the other ones who also work within Doane's athletic department in the training field?
Yeah, it's awesome. Our kids are way smarter than I ever was. They pick up on stuff so quick. Technology-wise is so much better, and the students, they grasp onto things, and they are phenomenal. They help us out a ton. They do a lot of kind of the stuff that doesn't get noticed a lot, but then they're also taking on duties that I would have never dreamed of being able to do as a student. Working with athletes, doing rehabs, internship opportunities. We have students going to Crete and Lincoln, following doctors, physical therapists, and they're bringing stuff back to us. That's just it's unbelievable, the technology and the knowledge that's out there right now.
Again, talking to Greg Seier on the Doane College Review, and it seems like even over just the last few years, it's a field that's continued to grow as sports in general have continued to grow.
Yep. Technology. I mean, the equipment that we have available to us, it's unbelievable how if an injury occurs, we can usually get them pretty much somewhat ready or somewhat on the verge of being ready within, half the time as it used to take. So that's phenomenal for us.
Probably makes you feel like, man, where was this when I was running track? That would have been nice.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yes, I wouldn't have been as much pain as I was.
Now, track and field is obviously an interesting sport because it's one of the bigger all-around teams. So you end up spending a lot of time with those folks?
We have 2 assistants, and then I have a grad assistant too. And so we kind of, I don't really like to say divvy up the sports, but we kind of have different people in charge of different sports. And so I have one of my assistants kind of cover them and kind of spend more time with them. I try and pop over every once in a while as much as I can. But it doesn't always work out that way.
Last question, Greg. What are some of the things coming up for the department here in the coming weeks?
Well, we got January 4th, our basketball kicks back up again, track kicks up, wrestling kicks up. So we got about 5 students coming back, helping us out until second semester starts. And then once second semester starts, we have pretty much baseball, softball, track, wrestling, basketball going. And that'll pretty much carry us into spring football. And then after spring football, we do screenings. So it's our returning athletes, we take them through kind of an end of the year orthopedic screening. And we have 2 students groups on campus that help out with that. They take a blood pressure, a pulse, take them through different movements, just to kind of make sure everything's fine, everything's good. And that usually is 2 nights, and we run about 500 athletes through pretty quickly. So that's kind of our big thing coming up in the spring. And then to end the year, we do our athletic training Olympics. We have the students divide up into 2 different teams, and then we have athletic training games that we kind of take them through, a crutch throw, a wheelchair race, a cooler carry, and we end the day with a banquet at the end of the night to send their seniors off.
My thanks to Doane Director of Sports Medicine Greg Seier for that interview here on the Doane College Review. Thank you for listening to the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 8:30, we take a look at what's going on around Doane College athletics, academics, arts, and more. Earlier parts of the program were the more athletics-focused part of it, but over the past year, we've had a number of interesting interviews about various topics around Doane College. Academically, Doane excels in many different areas. One of them is the sciences. Ramesh Langani of the biology department explains.
We have centered our curriculum around turning students into critical scientific thinkers, and we are really students to be engaged in actual science. So what that means is our students are answering questions that we don't know the answers to from the day they get here. So they are designing experiments themselves. There are no predetermined outcomes to those experiments. And we are also really focused on having them learn professional development skills. So things like how to clearly present their findings in a public venue. These are all skills that you learn by doing science, not just watching it. So we are really intentional about designing our entire curriculum from a student's first semester all the way through their 4 years here, where to engage them in actual science, to put them on the cutting edge of our understanding of biology.
Dr. Rachel Burks of the chemistry department offered a similar sentiment.
So, in really big schools, you can have classes with hundreds of people. At Doane, you're going to have, 20, maybe 30 fellow classmates. In upper division classes, it's going to be, even smaller. The class I'm teaching this term is 11 students. And so you get a lot of good one-on-one attention. Group work is easier to do, and research opportunities are really abound. So Doane students that are in chemistry and in all of the sciences have a lot of opportunities to get involved with research and work directly with professors on their projects. And they can start doing that their first year, which really sets Doane apart from, bigger schools. And also because we have research funding and research opportunities, the students that come through the chemistry program can have 3 to 4 years of research experience, which just makes them really competitive applicants, not only for technical lab jobs directly into the workforce, but also into graduate and professional schools, so going on to get masters, PhDs, MDs. It just really gives them a leg up and a lot more kind of practical lab experience, having the small size.
Once again, you're listening to the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT. And it's not only interviews about Doane academics that we've gotten, we've also heard about some of their other programs, including the music department. Dr. Jay Gilbert, Director of Instrumental Music at Doane.
Well, I think probably the thing that really drives our program is the high-quality students that we have been able to get to come and be with us and to be in our program. They're hardworking and talented. You probably know, Jordan, as you see them at the football game, that they are a group of students who really enjoy a good time, making a good time for themselves, and also trying to make a good time for the audience. I know that people probably realize, those people that are at the game, that when the visiting team, for example, calls a timeout, the band plays Jeopardy while they figure it out. When the visiting players commit a personal foul, the band might sing "You Lost That Love and Feeling," or they might play Macho Man if somebody commits a flagrant violation of the rules. But the students here are committed to playing at a high level, and we've been very, very lucky to attract quite a number of them to our campus and to be with us. We have 4 bands in the band program: a wind ensemble, a concert band that also has community members in it. We have the pep band, which plays at all home football games, and we have a jazz ensemble, which is an 18-piece select group that plays some of the greatest American jazz, rock, and fusion music written. On the choral side, we have 4 choirs. The Doane Choir, which will be the group that travels to Florida and sings at the Nebraska Music Educators Association convention. And then we have a collegiate chorale made up of 60 of our best underclassmen. And then we have a Jazz Unlimited group, which is a show choir. It's not really a show choir. It's a jazz group, a vocal jazz group that sings with microphones, and they sing kind of like Manhattan Transfer and other jazz groups, very close harmony jazz arrangements. And then we have a men's group called Double Wide, which sings everything from doo-wop to barbershop. Just a wonderful performing ensemble that people just love to listen to sing. So we're very, very blessed here at Doane College with wonderful students and a wonderful music program.
But it's not only the Crete campus of Doane College that has many interesting things and opportunities, as we learned when we talked with Kerry Fina. He talked to us about some of the adult learning programs Doane offers.
One of the biggest questions is, how do I fit this into my life? And this is what we were created for. We looked at a new model in 1981, and we said, we saw that there are a lot of people who wanted to finish their degree programs, could never figure out a way to do it in a traditional setting. So we figured out what does that look like for people who are working, have families, and other commitments. And what it looks like, and what's been successful for us, are 8-week terms where you meet once a week for each class that you're taking, one night a week from 6 to 10:30, or on a Saturday morning from 8 to 12:30. And for undergraduate students, that's 2 classes a week to be full-time. For our graduate students, that's typically 1 class a week. And people find that the faculty, who are also professionals in their field as well as credentialed academics, are really they're really focused on the needs of their students and student success. We have very small ratios of teachers to students, and our class size is typically 12 to 15 students, something like that.
Also on the Doane College Review, we've had a chance to interview people about various news around Doane, including the planned change to turn Doane College to Doane University. Mike Leffler spoke on that.
You know, we got a good response from alumni. We had a lot of alumni when we sent out our communication that this change was occurring. The alumni were the first group that we reached out to because we knew that the name Doane College would resonate more with them than anyone else. So we reached out to them and offered them to respond to us with any questions or concerns they might have. And overwhelmingly, the response was positive. And any of the negative responses we might have gotten, we might have received, were largely based upon they didn't have all the information they needed to make a decision. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of emotion. I think a lot of people from the alumni base are very much tied to the Doane College that they've come to, that they graduated from, that they've come to know and love. And we want to make sure that they realize that Doane isn't going to go away, even if we have a little bit different name that's going to be on the degrees at the end of the day. The same things they've come to love about Doane over the past 143 years are going to remain for the next 143, and that's certainly not going to change. But by and large, we've had a very positive response. We've tried to do as good a job as we could in articulating the reasoning why, and we think that's really resonated with alums, and we hope it will continue to do so in the future.
And on the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT, we've even had a chance to talk with the president of Doane College, Jack Carter.
Well, I'm most proud of our students every day. Our first president, 140 years ago, President Brainerd Perry, he said our mission was to bring latent talents to light and obscure genius to distinction, and to do that for first-generation students. Back then it was pioneer sons and daughters, and today it's the same mission, just a different population of students. But we're still finding that our students, most of them, maybe first or if not first generation, their families are more recent in terms of going to college, and that we are proud that we're able to take a student who has all of this potential and be able to work with them closely here, because we're not a large school. We are able to reach them on an individual basis, sort of like Cheers, where everybody knows your name here. I think that's one of the things that I'm most proud of, is that we've stayed true to that mission. We also have done some innovative things recently that I think are worthy of note. And one would be our transforming our traditional library of books into what we call a digital learning commons. And so the books have disappeared, and in their place have come iPads and laptops and computers that connect them to the World Wide Web in ways that teaching and learning is enhanced. And so that was a big investment, and it's amazing how many more students now go to the library than they used to. And another example of that would be the creation of what we call our College to Career Center, which is a service in an area where students start as freshmen to intern and find opportunities outside of the classroom, so that when they graduate, they'll not only get a diploma from me, but they'll take with them a resume, already having worked in the work environment as a recently minted undergraduate student. These are examples of trying to innovate. And the last one I would say that's an example would be our 3-year guarantee to be able to make college more affordable. If a student can maintain their grades and stay focused and use summers to capture some coursework, they can actually finish a year earlier with that bachelor's degree, which means they're out in the workforce a year earlier and they have a year less of having to pay tuition. So those are things we're pretty proud of, and that the students are responding to very positively.
Those are just some of the great interviews we had a chance to conduct on the Doane College Review in 2015, and you can expect more great interviews for 2016. This wraps up the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT. Remember, this program airs every Saturday morning from 8 until 8:30. I'm Jordan Slocum.